Hi and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm covering oil streaking, chipping and pin washes. The kit used in this video is a Tamiya Sherman M4A3E8, kit number 35346. The paints I'm using are a Windsor Newton chromium yellow and Abteilung olive green and light grey. I'm using a small paintbrush and a cocktail stick for the application of the dot filters, and then a small soft bristle brush for the blending. I'm using a piece of cardboard for a colour palette. I'm doing this so the linseed oil from the oil paint is absorbed by the cardboard. If the linseed oil isn't removed from the oil paint, it will take a lot longer to dry. This should be left for at least 20 minutes. You also need 2 pots of thinners, one for the blending and one for cleaning the brush when you change colours. I apply the paint to the model using the cocktail stick and the small brush in little dots. I take the other paintbrush, place it in the thinners and remove the excess on some kitchen roll so it's just damp, not wet. I use the damp brush to streak and blend the oil paint into the surface. You need to remove the majority of the paint to leave behind a filter. And I do this in a vertical motion to mimic gravity. The effect I'm looking for is very soft and subtle, just a faint hint of the colour. This helps to blend in any hard edges from the paint modulation and creates a soft transition in colour. If I have any unwanted colour in certain areas, I remove it with a cotton wool bud. Like a lot of effects that I apply to my models, I often wonder if it's worth it, as it's hardly noticeable, but then surely if I'm happy with the end result, then it's worth it, and if I hadn't done it, would I still be happy with it? I move around the entire model, repeating this process until I'm happy with it. If I'm not happy, then I'll continue either removing or adding more paint until I am happy, then move on to the next stage. Next we move on to chipping. All the paints used for the chipping are from the Vallejo range and are either Model Air, Model Colour or Panzer Aces. I forget the exact colours that I used for this, but I know I used Panzer Aces 302, I think it is, which is dark rust. I mixed the lighter green colour from Model Air olive green and added Model Colour white and yellow to thicken it and also to lighten the colour for the green chips. I'm using an Abteilung 502 paintbrush, which is a 5/0. I started the chipping process with a lighter green colour. This is to mimic light scratches made by bushes, moving objects over the paintwork and people walking on it. I start on the outside edges of panels, moving inward to the centre, leaving small chips behind with the paint. I repeat this process with a slightly lighter colour, filling in some of the previous chips but also creating new ones. This gives the model more dimension. I don't normally do the 2 passes, it's just that I couldn't actually remember the colour that I used to paint the model with. It's been some time since I built it, and I just wanted to make sure I had the right colour, and I thought it was, but I couldn't really see it on the first pass, so I lightened the colour further. I quite like the effect, and due to the modulation it's often hard to see all the chips if you just use a one colour. Once I'm happy with the result of the green chipping, I then repeat the process using a dark rust colour. The colour I used was Vallejo 306 Model Air. Again, I fill in some of the lighter green chips so it creates a 3-dimensional effect and create more fresh chips. I also used a silver colour from Vallejo, I think it was aluminium from Model Colour, to do some chipping on the wild beads. Focusing again on the edges of panels where you'd get a lot of wear from trees, branches and boxes being put on, and also wear and tear from people getting on and off. I repeat this process around the entire model, going from panel to panel, including the turret and the running gear. If I'm happy with the end result, then I'll move on to the next process. If not, I'll add more chips. Now it's time for the pin wash. You can buy pre-made washes, but I like to make my own out of oil paint and white spirits. It needs to be quite a thin mix so that the capillary action pulls the paint into the recessed details on the model. I repeat this process around the entire tank, moving from panel to panel, ensuring I get all the details around the hatches, all the weld beads and panel lines, including the nuts and bolts on the wheels. It's important to choose the right colour for your model. Normally I stick to a dark brown colour because it works for pretty much any colour and it looks a bit like dirt as well. Once you've been over the entire model, allow it to dry for about 10 to 15 minutes so there's no glossiness to the pin wash, and then you can remove any excess with a damp brush. And here's the end result. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to leave a comment, like or subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this in the future.